The notion that unconscious motivations underlie all human encounters is a basic principle of psychotherapy and a cornerstone of individual treatment. In groups, too, another level of meaning exists below the surface. What is initially apparent is not necessarily what is really going on. What is seen and heard may be a symbolic way of saying something else or something more. Every comment, even if taken at face value, can have a myriad of meanings. The interpretation of what is really meant and its relation to what is said are as varied as every speaker and every listener. The failure to communicate an accurate message may lie in unconscious motivations. These motivations lead to communicating thoughts not consciously intended or to selective hearing, also the result of unconscious feelings by those addressed. In groups, communication is complicated by the many different speakers and respondents and the baggage brought by each to the group setting. The group is greater than the sum of its parts because a seemingly infinite number of interrelationships exist among the members, creating different wholes. The group maintains both a group consciousness, a shared understanding motivated by latent dynamics, and many individual consciousnesses, each with its own latent qualities. The nature of the latent material is strongly influenced by the needs of the group members and the group phase. The group worker's most difficult task is to uncover the latent issues of the group personality and individual members' personalities to propel the group forward toward resolving conflict and maximizing mutual work leading to growth. The process of reaching for latent content involves a new kind of listening, new in its capacity for hearing what is left unsaid and for ferreting out the connections between what occurs on the surface and what may be happening below. The worker, after all, is no more a tabula rasa than are the group members. Ideally, what keeps the worker on track is the conscious way in which she or he constantly monitors personal reactions and listens for feedback. The goals of the group should have been developed after reviewing the needs of the population, the client's expressed goals for the group experience, and the needs and goals of the agency. See Chapter 7. Each session, the worker contemplates general and specific goals to assist the group. Determinations about areas for work are connected to the worker's knowledge about the goals for the group in any particular session, as well as over the lifetime of the group. The worker may not set up the group agenda to deal with what she or he deems important, but will rather listen for the content, which reveals what is important to the group goals and to personal knowledge of the population. Clues to latent content are found throughout each session. Body language, an unexplained feeling of tension in the room, sadness, anger, a tone that seems inappropriate to affect that seems inappropriate to content, a repeated avoidance of emotionally charged material, and many intangibles alert the worker to another level of meaning. Although workers can never be certain what is going on, they need to be sensitive to their own feelings, willing to pursue those about which they are unclear. Workers may ask directly about the feeling they are experiencing or a pattern they are observing. By charting certain variables, the worker can make some educated guesses about what is going on and easily connect them with his or her knowledge about the population and the phase. When working with clients who have difficulty in verbalizing feelings, the worker must be more attuned than usual to nonverbal messages. The first phase, when a worker readies herself or himself to move into the group as a helping person, is the tuning in phase. Tuning in is essential to the task of uncovering latent content. Over time, workers familiarize themselves with the characteristic behavior of clients, with the ways the group usually expresses itself and responds to stress. Sometimes the symbolic ways in which people communicate are not so hard to uncover and are plain to both group members and the worker. A useful way to identify latent content and encourage it to surface so that it does not become an obstacle to work and growth is to study important group themes that develop over time. Issues that repeat themselves in different sessions, sometimes in disguised forms, are issues that are important to the members. The skilled worker learns to be sensitive to timing, not necessarily addressing problematic material in early sessions before worker and member trust each other, but filing those issues for future consideration at a more appropriate time. A valuable tool in educating oneself to listen for latent content is the record of service. This method of process recording focuses on a particular group problem or issue over time. By writing the analysis, the worker attempts to identify skills or rubrics used in the course of the process. What stands out most dramatically is the worker's continued listening to, identifying of, and partializing of the problems and feelings that are verbally and non-verbally expressed by the members. The worker helps the members to engage around its issues, but reframes the discussion in a manner that dilutes its intensity. In a non-punitive manner, the worker accepts their form of expression and helps them to clarify some of the confusing things they are experiencing. In work with many disenfranchised populations, or in work with involuntary clients, the general issues concerning trust are exaggerated. Parenting groups conducted by agencies that are also responsible for removing neglected or abused children from families are likely to have members uneasy about self-disclosure. Sharing is simply a potential danger. The worker's openness in addressing her own feelings and reactions to the previous session, and her honest exploration of the group members' feelings, yield a real response. Concerns about confidentiality and trust finally surface and can be discussed. The potential for meaningful work exists only after the latent content is uncovered. In certain groups, reaching for latent content involves interpreting communications between members to assure that speaker and listener understand the message in the same way. In the course of work with groups, one finds numerous examples of symbolic ways to express difficult feelings. Symbolism is more likely to be present when the pain is incapacitating. It acts as a defensive posture by helping some of the difficulty to be expressed, if only in a cloaked fashion. In some ways, there is a strong parallel between the symbolic expression of pain in groups and the manner in which difficult feelings are addressed in dreams. Sometimes an entire group meeting is similar to an extended metaphor in which some hard-to-talk-about subject serves as a latent theme throughout. The latent content may manifest itself repeatedly with various symbolic representations. The group worker's awareness of the theme's importance for the group allows her to recognize its reappearance and to continue to explore its meaning. Assignment. Reaction paper. Suggestions for viewers. Take notes on these questions while listening to the audio and complete the reaction paper afterwards, or use the questions as a way to approach discussion. Respond to each question below. Length and style. 2-4 pages double-spaced. Be brief and concise. Do not provide a full synopsis of the audio. This is meant to be a brief reaction paper that you write soon after listening to the audio. I want your ideas and reactions to the questions provided to you. What to write? Respond to the following questions in your reaction paper. Motivation for migrating. 1. There is a story behind every decision to migrate. What was Abdisalam Adam's story for migrating to the United States? 2. What were Abdisalam's hopes or expectations for a new life here? 3. Why did he choose to come to Minnesota instead of somewhere else? The journey. 1. Who did he come with, and who did he leave behind? 2. Did anyone come ahead of him? 3. What was the most difficult part about leaving for Abdisalam Adam? 4. What was his journey to this new country community like for him in Minnesota? 5. What was the most difficult part of coming here for Abdisalam Adam? 6. What was it like when he first arrived? 7. What most surprised him about coming to America? 8. What did he miss most about where he came from? 9. Who was most helpful with getting Abdisalam Adam settled? 10. Migration can be hard. Where did he find strength in difficult times? 11. How do you think that the migration process has changed him? In the course of work with groups, one finds numerous examples of symbolic ways to express difficult feelings. Symbolism is more likely to be present when the pain is incapacitating. It acts as a defensive posture by helping some of the difficulty to be expressed, if only in a cloaked fashion. In some ways, there is a strong parallel between the symbolic expression of pain in groups and the manner in which difficult feelings are addressed in dreams. Sometimes an entire group meeting is similar to an extended metaphor in which some hard-to-talk-about subject serves as a latent theme throughout. The latent content may manifest itself repeatedly with various symbolic representations. The group worker's awareness of the theme's importance for the group allows her to recognize its reappearance and to continue to explore its meaning.